All right, party people. Welcome back to the Detox series. It's so good to have you. I am feeling in this moment very challenged. Feeling challenged. I'm feeling a little tired. Feeling really good in my body. Feeling grateful for all the opportunities. I was feeling a bit of overwhelm today at different times for different reasons. But now that I'm doing this, I feel a lot better. I'm telling you, man, it's something about just expressing yourself. Something about expressing yourself that just feels really good, and it feels really real and really natural and really me. So yeah, I'm going to review the day. Today was day 5. And man, I'm so looking forward to the end of this detox. But I'm here for what's still in store, what I'm still here to learn. Today I learned a lot. But I definitely, again, was thinking about, again, whenever you create these boundaries, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your boundaries and your relationship with your boundaries and your relationship with your freedom within and beyond those boundaries. And yeah, it just reveals a lot. This has revealed a lot of my behaviors, my thought patterns, my relationship with those things, how I approach those things and or avoid those things. Man, it's been invaluable, this process. And again, you think you're just detoxing your body. Oh man, you're detoxing mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. Removing all the toxins, bodily toxins, and again, the dissonance in your mindscape, your thought forms, your thought patterns, your labels for things, your responses to things, the reactions, all of it, man. It's just all of the fog clears, and you're just left with, man, wow, all this is, I had a sense all this was here, but now I see it clearly. So profound. This kind of stuff is really gonna change the world. It's changing my world. I think a lot of people are being called to this for a reason. And so those are some of my immediate insights from the day. But going through the sequence of the day, I woke up. I've been waking up consistently at 7 a.m. I'm not sure if that's natural or if that's because I'm like now connected to these dogs, and these dogs are used to getting up at that time. So there is a moment where they start jumping on me. They have a really good clock. It's always on point at 7. I don't have a alarm set or anything. But yeah, today I got up and was able to have a nice morning, like easing into the day. Didn't have to like run off anywhere. And so I went for a walk. Beautiful day. Like the temperature's been really cool here. I think that's just been like the storms looming, either passing by or coming through. And it's just been clearing out a lot of stuff, obviously in nature too, not just I truly I'm pretty convinced, have a lot of evidence throughout my life that whatever's happening internally is also happening out in that part of nature, is congruent with this part of nature. And yeah, so it's just been really nice temperatures. It has been scorching hot, even though we're in the middle of summer, like the peak of summer in Texas. So that's also interesting observation. And I made my mung bean soup this morning, listening to some beautiful music, some beautiful angelic music. And yeah, it was a good way to start the day. And I got done with that just in time to go to my accountability call with my accountability group. Also highly recommend like having an accountability group of some form when you're going through this, because it really does help you kind of look at things. And again, an accountability group, there was a part of me that just saw accountability groups and avoided them like the plague because of the fear of shame, fear of shaming myself. I think that's when you focus specifically on specifically on specificity. And what I've realized is, because we set a certain number of agreements and things that we're going to do, they call them legs. So there's just like different categories of agreements that we made with ourselves. My two were like working on music and exercise. And what I realized throughout the last couple of weeks, practicing those, we basically come, we say, hey, my name, I'm Connor, I speak the truth. And when we share whether our program is intact or not intact. And then if it's not intact, we go into that, we look into it, right? And like what that resistance is. And again, so we're doing the shadow work, and it's so profound, and it's a really, really safe space for us to just like look at all the things and with curiosity and love, and then move through them and actually just feel whatever that is. Because I've never seen so much like deeper peace and love and interconnectedness, connection to God, the all, clarity, everything, abundance, joy, all the good things. I've never felt that in any other thing, through just actually looking at these things like a child and loving them and asking what they need, and then acknowledging them, asking what they need, and then re-strategizing to honor those needs. And yeah, to do that with a group of like-hearted men, that also is really powerful for me. And so today, the number one thing that came up was I noticed in my program that I wasn't specifically adhering to my agreements of like exercising for 30 minutes, at a certain intensity. And the other one was doing something like music education based, like writing music, learning, doing vocal activations, or learning like the music production software. I didn't have access to those things. The things I really wanted to do was like play with Logic and music production and record and every day. And then the exercise thing, as the week went on, and especially when I went through this detox, I ended up doing other things. It's interesting. I ended up doing other things to fulfill those parts of me. So I started off doing those specific things, and then I ended up, there were just days where it didn't really line up well, but I found ways to fulfill that part of me that in other ways. Sometimes even like felt more fulfilling than what my initial agreement was, like the specific activity. And so what I realized was what's more important is like what's the underlying need and desire that part of you is looking to fulfill and build integrity around, right? So for me, I realized like what was underneath the music was just I just want to express myself authentically every day in a creative way, with my voice. And so this is the way I still fulfilled that. And the nights that I didn't do music stuff, and I'm still doing music stuff, right? There's still times when I go to the studio or when I, you know, this, that's why it felt weird. Like there was a part of me that was like, oh, you're not, like was the judgment and the shame of like, oh, you're not doing this specific thing. But deep down, I felt in integrity, because I was still fulfilling the core need or desire, by expressing myself. And then what I found with the exercise thing was I actually just wanted to, what was within that is I just actually wanted to be more connected to my body and what my body needed in the moment and during the day. And so I felt that need was met. As I've gone through the days, like I haven't felt drowsy. I haven't, what I really actually wanted was just in the morning and in the evening and afternoon to go out and get sunlight. Like when I was feeling a pull and we're like, okay, we've had enough of the indoors and the screens. It was more of a, am I listening to that call to like go outside and connect with nature and zoom out, and get some fresh air, and then sometimes I would do sprints. I would walk the dogs and I would do sprints with them, and I would like get my heart rate up a little bit. But I realized it was more just like wanting to clear my mind and then like listening to my body and responding to what it needed in the moment, and not like pressing through, because that's what I would do in the past. Like I would just like press through because I was like, oh, I have to finish this thing. I have to complete this thing, like by the deadline and things like that, to the sacrifice of my body and what it was actually needing. So yeah, so I felt within integrity. I felt I was honoring that. I was honoring my body and I was honoring my health and my wellness, and I was listening to it. I think that's what it actually wanted at a core level, and less about like getting my heart rate up. It just wanted me to move energy, like stand up and dance and like move energy, and not just keep the emotions bottled up inside. So yeah, so that's what was revealed, and my new agreement to myself was just that I'm gonna give myself a little more grace and flexibility. And I'm not gonna make excuses. I can tell now. I can notice when I'm just fully avoiding the discomfort versus, just actually honoring what my body actually needs and all that it really needs, and not like forcing high intensity exercise if that's just actually isn't what it needs in the moment and what it's asking for us to fulfill our desires. So yeah, just being really like way more in tune with that. And from there, after that call, let's see what else happened. I hopped on with my new team member, and we were able to connect, and we had a lot of really like similarities, and so it's really cool to have like shared values with the people that you're co-creating with. And we came up with a lot of ideas, and we got excited about things that we're gonna improve within the company and within helping our clients and our own experience, making our lives better and more enjoyable, systematically, and how we can do that together as a team and support each other. And so that was really cool to connect with her. And then after that, I had a coaching call. I guided a coaching call. That was really powerful. I was able to be more firm and direct with, you, instead of like adding fluff, there was a lot more clarity on like what my feedback and feed forward was for them and their questions. And yeah, and then after that, the transitions have been interesting. That's always been kind of an issue. Like it was very clear that it wasn't time. I felt there was resistance because right now I'm in a ramp up period and there's a good bit of stuff for me to go through. Again, it's like a checklist. And so I definitely felt resistance to that. And so I like kind of left and gave myself some space, went and got a smoothie. But I was very aware of this part that was just resistant to me going through this checklist and stuff like that. And when I actually, before I got back and I enjoyed a smoothie and had like the last serving of my mung bean soup as well. And before I dove into the work, because I felt this resistance, and normally I would just like go into the work, but I'm done doing that and just like moving, just like bulldozing through that. I'm done doing that. So I sat with it for a minute. I was like, ask myself, hey, where's this coming from? And it was this child version of me that was just like, I'm so afraid that we're gonna go back into the pattern of like hustling and yeah, and that we're not gonna consistently do things like this and express ourselves and share our wisdom and our genius and use our voice and make our music and dancing and everything. It was like the child and the feminine were just like, they're just like really afraid that we're gonna perpetuate those patterns again. And I just sat with him and I told him that, hey, I hear you. I want to assure you that is impossible to do with the level of awareness that we have now. And I promise, if for whatever reason anything starts to feel overwhelming or out of alignment or out of integrity, or it's sacrificing your needs and desires, and it drifts from what we're actually here to do, then we're going to look at it. We're not going to repress it. We're going to speak our truth. If we need help, if we can't do it ourselves, we're going to speak our truth and ask for help from, again, people within the company, our colleagues, people we know and trust in our personal network. We know that's not the way anymore. Right? I know that's not the way, and that it's not where I'm gonna guide us. And we're gonna find the joy and play also in the work that we're doing as well. There are many ways. I assured it that there are many ways we can do that, and I named those out. So it's just me letting the child know. Sorry, like my the underwear I'm wearing right now is like really sticky for some reason. I don't know why. They're really itchy. So that's why I keep shifting and scratching my butt. Yeah, and then from there it dissolved, and it was like, all right, and because again I'm rebuilding this trust, with these parts of myself. Again, that have just been like banging at my leg for so long. For us to finally like dial in these things that we're here to do on this planet, and things that we're here to express and create. And this is just one of the stepping stones, it's just one of the stepping stones, and it's part of the transition, and it's part of the it's just what I know to do best, to keep us like provided for, while we can also build integrity with these new skills and with songwriting and making music. And what's super true for me right now is again, health and wellness, doing these types of things, these detoxes, like getting really in tune with our natural essence, and um, and then our music, and then just writing music, like not rushing into having to build a community and having to like do these things with others, on a weekly basis. Like that's going to happen. It's inevitable. Right now, like one thing at a time. We don't have to overwhelm ourselves with our creative expression. We can still just do the thing that's like most potent in our heart, and that right now is like writing our own music, creating our own art, like in the form of an album, and recording that, and things like that. So, and it's okay to just be doing that right now, artistically. And then what we're doing now with the coaching, we're integrating, like, again, a lot more firmness and a lot more just like we're integrating those parts of ourselves, and again, our ability to be efficient and just be like to the point, and not have to swim around in emotion all the time, and just really finding that balance with human connection and firmness and consistency and coherence, and just objectivity and getting shit done, and guiding people. It's something it's going to be a really powerful skill for me to build, as well as the tech stuff and problem solving, and having opportunities to be, go travel and meet the owner of the company in Medellin, Colombia, which is really exciting. And there are a lot of new chapters and opportunities that can open up through that. I've always been called to live in like a Latin American country for an extended period of time, learn new languages, connect with people in different cultures, and really expand my consciousness, because I really can seem like a bubble sometimes here in Austin, with belief systems and things like that. But aside from that, so yeah, it's a really amazing opportunity, and I felt a lot less overwhelmed when I met with existing client care person, because they were able to tell me, yeah, this is how I do everything intuitively with the clients. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's starting to make sense now. So just reassuring myself that, hey, it's all going to be good, it's all going to make sense, as we're going to create to get clear. And that's why we're doing this, to understand what's the most important, and kind of like clear everything else out, all the other chaos, and and focus on those things. And so that was the second thing. Is the other thing that felt like overwhelm. The other thing that feels like overwhelm is when I feel resistance when I'm like consuming something that it's the part of me that just wants to start doing the thing and practically like working with clients and doing like just getting to the meat, right? Like the really core things. And and right now I'm going through like the mission, vision, and values, and that is really important as well. And it's like it seems like 5+ pages long or whatever, and I have this like massive list of tasks to do for the onboarding list, and so for me, I think that's just all that. I'm just very conscious of those things now, whereas before I just like muscle through it. I'm actually just here for it now, and I'm asking why it's there. And again, it's the part that wants to just start doing the thing, connecting with people, helping people, making money. I'll just feel urgency as well, because I know the team could use my support, and starting to work with clients I also don't. Part of me doesn't want to be seen as, because in the past I've taken long to get things done. So efficiency has been a thing for me in the past, in doing like very technical things, and it just usually takes a while for me to process things. And so this is part of me that just like doesn't want to be perceived as that, as like not good enough. And so I was just loving that part, and again, I'm just actually acknowledging these things and no longer repressing them, which is again a result of this detox. It's, if I were in my typical patterns of eating like very dense things like meat and bread and cheese and all these things, I would snack and just munch uncontrollably, to just power through it, and then I'd like go like just drown my eyeballs in watching show or something, and then fall asleep restless, and it's just, yeah, it's just not sustainable. And I did that for years, and so I think it's just not the way anymore. So yeah, and again, right before I recorded this, I was like going through that stuff, and it's not that that stuff also isn't important. It's just sometimes it's very clear, like God or like just my body is just telling me, okay, like we're complete with this. It's okay. It's not the time for this anymore. It's time to record your video and fulfill that desire, and because it's really important. It just feels really important to fulfilling our desires and our dharma or whatever you want to call it. And that other thing can wait. It's okay to not have that done, right? It's going to happen when it happens. And the other thing that I like to voice, that I'm voicing now, is I'm telling like the owner of the company, like, hey, it doesn't seem like it's super important for me to consume this now. And I'm also going to get clear on like when realistically, when they want me to be fully ramped up and starting to take on clients. Because I think if that was clear too, then I wouldn't feel this urgency, to ramp up as soon as possible and and get proficient in all this as soon as possible and competent. So yeah, just taking it day by day. So grateful for this outlet. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, there was a moment. I almost had a weak moment, man. I almost like just justified and gave myself permission to grab chips. It's so funny to grab like these like I almost convinced myself. I was like, oh, they're like rice crackers, we can break it. Like we're giving ourselves permission to break it, and it's okay without shame and stuff like that. But then I realized, I was like, no, let's see if we can shift this first. And so as soon as I gave myself permission and I listened to that voice of like, hey, it's fine. We can stop this particular task and we can go record the thing. It's actually, as soon as I gave myself permission to do that and to record this, it lifted. That craving was gone. So something to it all, man. These are profound learnings, and so grateful that I get to take these with me every day of my life going forward. Life is a ceremony. And if you're watching this and you're feeling inspired, again, this is the work, man. Like, this is the most potent work that I've found. If you find something more potent than this, and like just actually looking at these things and giving them a voice and finding out where they're coming from and relating to them like a child, or the feminine part of you, or the masculine part of you, or just a part of you. It doesn't even have to be one of those archetypes, because they're all unique in their own way. It's just brought so much peace, so much presence, so much love and connection with myself and others, and God, the all, everything. Yeah, just eternally grateful. And I'm gonna close this video out by again welcoming you to ask any questions in the comment section about this diet, about myself and my journey and my story. If you want to connect, I'm always open to connecting with like-hearted souls, here to create their version of heaven on earth for the people that they love. Because we can actually have everything that we want, as long as we just actually acknowledge that within ourselves, and embody it through our voice, through our communication, and our words, because our words create worlds. And yeah, with that said, let me know if this resonates, like I said, in the comments. And that concludes day 5. I will see you on day 6. Really looking to closing this one out strong. So thank you for being with me on this journey. Peace.